Hey guys, I want to kind of go over what a DTC monitor is in vehicles that are used today. The DTC monitor, or the car's monitoring system, is the DTC monitor is the car looking at the system, the PCM looking at the system to make sure that those systems, like your O2 sensors, which are detecting the O2 content or the oxygen content in the exhaust, are working correctly. Checking the emissions controls, typically your catalyst, your O2 sensors, your evaporative emission systems, your catalytic converter systems, checking to make sure that those systems are all working and that there's not a problem or an issue with any of those systems. So the vehicles and the car companies are mandated to do this because if the emissions increase over 1.5% of what they should from the factory, then it's supposed to turn the check engine light on. So the monitoring system is set up to where it's going to look at each of these systems. The PCM has a program installed in it that is going to look at the O2 sensors. So let's use that as an example. So if I wanted to check the catalytic converter efficiency in a vehicle, the cars have been programmed to watch the primary or pre-cat O2 and the secondary O2 sensor, the post-cat O2 sensor. So what it's looking for is it's looking for variations in those signals. So most of the time, a pre-cat O2 sensor is going to be going lower voltage, and they typically read in a millivolts scale. So you'll have close to a 0 millivolt scale all the way up to 800 or so millivolts. And it should switch from those pretty fast. So it should go low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high. What that's doing is that's controlling the fuel. So the car is using that O2 sensor to make the car run lean, make the car run rich. And it does that pretty fast so that it keeps it at a consistent kind of average of 14.7 to 1 parts air to 1 part fuel. So the pre-cat will do that. The post-cat, after all the exhaust gases go through the cat, there should be a change there. So the post-cat is going to range the same, but it's going to do it slowly. So it's going to go to a smaller voltage and a higher voltage, and it'll look more rounded, and it won't change as fast. So the front O2 sensor, the pre-cat O2 sensor, or the primary O2 sensor is going to switch rapidly, and the post-cat sensor is going to switch very slowly. Okay, so if the post-cat sensor starts switching rapidly like a pre-cat sensor, that means that the catalyst is not doing its job. It's not actually converting some of those harmful gases into unharmful gases, and it's not oxidizing and creating the water like it's supposed to. So the PCM is going to look at that post-cat sensor, it's going to look at the pre-cat sensor, and it wants to see those differences. It wants to see the pre-cat switching fast, the post-cat switching slowly. So if it sees them where they're starting to get more and more alike, it's going to set a code for a P0420 if it's bank 1, P0430 if it's bank 2, meaning that the catalytic converter is not doing its job. So it is going to run this test, which is called a DTC monitor, every time you drive the car. But it has to get up to temperature. The cat doesn't basically do anything when it's cold, and it doesn't start doing anything until the O2 sensors start telling the PCM to control fuel. So we're monitoring the catalyst. We're monitoring EGR valves. So basically what a monitor is it is just a test that the PCM runs on those systems to make sure that those systems are working correctly. So a DTC monitor is just a test. Okay, it's just a test that the computer does to the system to make sure that the system is working correctly. Now, most of the newer cars, when you go to get an emissions test nowadays, all they're going to do is they're going to plug a scan tool in. I think it's from 07 and up. They'll plug a scan tool in and they're going to check codes on that car. They're going to check for DTCs. If you have an emissions-related DTCs, you automatically fail. And they're also going to check for monitor status. They're going to check to see if the catalyst monitor is run. They're going to look and see if the evaporative emissions monitor is run. They're going to look and see if the EGR O2 sensor, I think there's 5 different monitors that they want to see that have been run. And then if that has been run and they've all show passed, then you pass your emissions test. So that's a quick, 5-minute spiel on DTC monitors. Basically, the monitor is just the test that the PCM's doing on its systems in the cars, just to make sure they're not going to increase emissions output from the vehicle. Okay, I hope that helps, guys. Thank you very much, and have a good one.